over. So, but I love what's to come,
Yeah.
So, and actually we're very fall today.
Well, I know that's what I thought, and even though it doesn't necessarily feel like fall outside, I was like, you
Right.
know what? Let me try to embrace the fall colors, and went with kind of like a little maroon. We got our little cornucopia and changing of the colors, the leaves. Yeah,
something that we don't get to really see here, but
again, I know it just kind of stinks. It's like we were talking about how cold it is in here. It's like if only it was a little bit of a chill in the air outside. It's just kind of nasty.
I know.
Especially with the rain, but we're glad to see the rain.
Yeah, we needed the rain, so.
Yeah, that's the one plus of it all. So, and it is Friday, which is always good news. So hopefully your day's off to a good start. If not, hopefully we can, bring you some news that can change around, get you some good weekend plans going, because there's tons going on in Southeast Texas this weekend, as usual. And we'll get to all that in a little bit. But of course, first thing that we do want to do is get a look at some of your headlines for the day, some of that local news for you, including a suspect in custody following a wild chase that spanned 4 counties. We'll show you dash cam video.
Plus, Port Arthur ranked as one of the worst small cities to call home in the country.
And 12 accidents in a year's time, what the city of Beaumont is doing to take action to hope clear that issue. We'll have a look at all of those coming up in a little bit. But of course, we do want to focus on the fact that today is the last day for early voting. Seems like it just started not too long ago, but yeah, now coming to a close. Turnout across Southeast Texas creeping toward the 50% mark, which is some great news. Lots of folks turning out. Latest numbers through the end of early voting last night. Nearly 66,000 ballots were cast in Jefferson County, which is more than 44% of the registered voters. Then in Orange County, it exceeds 26,000 votes, which is about 45% of the voters registered there. Then in Hardin County through this morning, that topped 46%, which is great news. A deeper look at the numbers, of course, on fox4beaumont.com as well as kfdm.com. But the numbers are, you're talking about almost half of registered voters already going to the ballots and taking advantage of early voting, and we're not even at Election Day yet.
Right. I'm interested to see what those numbers are going to look like on Election Day.
Yeah.
I know there was a bit of some concern when the election started. Primaries. I'm blanking on this Friday. The primary election a couple months ago, some low turnout in some counties. So interesting. It's very, it's great to see that so many people have already decided to vote, and then even more, I'm assuming, are going to show up and in droves on Tuesday. So big election there. Of course, we have the presidential election, and then we'll have lots of smaller things in the counties that are important as well that really affect you here too. So we'll see. I'll be voting on that day too.
Yeah, definitely have an impact on your daily life. And of course, we're here for all of your coverage come Tuesday whenever it comes to results that will be rolling in, and some of our evening newscasts, of course, on KFDM and Fox 4. You can follow us there just in case you miss anything. We'll have the whole team out ready to go for Election Day because it is a big one. So, of course, stay tuned for that. And again, voting is Tuesday, November 5th. So quickly approaching. But again, if you can today, early vote.
Yeah.
And get it knocked out.
Also in local news this morning, a changing of the guard in Port Arthur with a new Justice of the Peace in Precinct 8. Kaylin Gardner Sr. taking the oath yesterday afternoon at the Port Arthur Sub-Courthouse. City leaders and fellow judges among the large crowd on hand. Gardner filling the void left by the retirement of Judge Tom Gillum. Gardner is active in Port Arthur and says it's important to work with young people facing truancy issues and other problems.
One of our major goals to make sure we can try to be a helping hand to our young people, where we can help where we can, try to lead them in the right direction. We're not trying to hurt them, but make sure we can do everything as a people's court to make sure they're successful.
Gardner is active in Port Arthur, serving as the lead pastor at a major church, and he's the youngest ever president of the Port Arthur NAACP.
Well, 12 accidents in a year's time has prompted the city of Beaumont to take action at the intersection of Magnolia and Calder. Drivers often ran the stop sign, causing a majority of the accidents at the intersection. The city put in a 4-way stop, as it's done at other intersections. Some people tell us it's a bit of an inconvenience, but certainly one that many will just have to get used to and can hopefully cut down on some of those accidents.
Well, a suspect is in custody following a wild chase spanning 4 counties at speeds of up to 100 30 miles an hour. Vidor police chief finding himself in the thick of it.
Outside lane crossing under Brooks Road. Speeds at 117.
Chief Rod Carroll providing his dash cam video to Fox 4. Carroll joining the chase shortly after 7 yesterday morning, going after a man with a gun, accused of stealing a pickup truck in Orange County. The suspect speeding away on the Interstate 10 with multiple agencies in hot pursuit. Chief Carroll and others navigating through heavy rain. Carroll finally pulling off when other agencies continued the pursuit. He says the suspect ended up in Channelview, then turned around and sped to Baytown, where he bailed out and was finally caught. So, interesting story there, caught on camera.
Absolutely. And then over in Port Arthur, slick roads sending cars sliding off highways yesterday, leading to multiple accidents. This scary scene was late yesterday afternoon on Highway 73 at the foot of the Rainbow Bridge. Port Arthur Police Chief Tim Duraso tells Fox 4 the driver hydroplaned in the rain, hitting a utility pole and continuing into the water. He was able to crawl out eventually, and thankfully no injuries were reported. But got to be careful. It's been a while since we've seen some rain, so
I know.
be extra cautious.
And that's the one thing that they do talk about when it does finally rain after a very long period, is that all the gunk on the roads
That's been sitting there and building up.
Right. And then it finally rains. I guess it lifts it, kind of makes everything really slicker than it normally would be. And so things like this happen.
Yeah, so be very careful out there on the roads. Well, a breach of security leading to a frightening series of events at a Nederland elementary school.
The police chief expecting a security review after an irate 24-year-old mother carrying a metal post walked into the school.
Fox 4 Sydney Ferguson has the new details on a story we broke Wednesday.
Nederland Police Chief Gary Porter walks to his office, but before he can get there, he meets a security checkpoint. The security of Nederland and its schools weighs heavily on Porter's mind after a parent walked into Hillcrest Elementary with a weapon.
As best I know right now, the lady was upset, something to the effect about some of her child's schoolwork. It worked out for the best, but it could have been bad.
The 24-year-old parent entered the school with a metal pole like this one, used outside the campus due to ongoing construction. Porter admits the situation could have been deadly.
Somebody with a 6-foot piece of iron in their hand can kill you. People get mad about something, they need to take a breath before they go down to the school and get themselves in a lot of trouble.
The woman is now charged with assault on a peace officer and a public servant, the vice principal.
Those officers, they don't deserve to get injured trying to do their job out there. Neither do the administration and the teachers at the school or the students.
Porter says the officer involved handled the situation well, but he understands heightened concerns about security. One parent told us Wednesday that her daughter was terrified.
It's really terrifying that the lady managed to get that far into the school. It seems like there's a new school shooting every day, and I don't know if it'll be her school, and today I felt like it almost was.
Porter says they regularly review security at the schools and likely will again.
There's nothing perfect, and but we've had a situation like this, you learn from it and you correct those security issues. I would say people can be confident that it's still safe to go to school.
But still unsettling for many parents and for students at Hillcrest Elementary. I'm Sydney Ferguson reporting in Nederland.
A Nederland ISD superintendent didn't want to do an interview to answer our questions about security yesterday, but Chief Porter says parents can rest assured that the school district and police are working together to improve security.
Well, 5 people, including 3 school employees in Houston, Texas, have been arrested for engaging in organized crime. The alleged scheme involved falsifying credentials for unqualified teachers to work in local school districts. Prosecutors say Booker T. Washington High School assistant principal Nicholas Newton took more than 400 certification tests. He fraudulently impersonated at least 200 teachers. Yates High School assistant principal LaShonda Roberts is accused of recruiting nearly 100 teachers to participate, and investigators say it was all orchestrated by Washington High School head basketball coach Vincent Grayson, who they allege made more than $1 million from the scheme. Multiple school districts in the Houston area are likely impacted, leading to heightened concerns about educational standards and public safety.
Well, the man accused of a 2019 mass shooting in El Paso appeared in court yesterday. Patrick Crusius is accused of opening fire inside of a Walmart, killing 23 people. Thursday's court appearance was part of a two-day hearing on alleged prosecutorial misconduct. His attorneys argued the El Paso District Attorney's Office had improper contact with witnesses, violated a gag order, and suppressed evidence. The legal team for Crusius is asking the court to dismiss the charges or remove the death penalty. The 26-year-old has already been sentenced to 90 consecutive life terms in federal prison after he pleaded guilty to hate crimes and weapons charges. Well, a man is behind bars in Hardin County linked to a case that shocks even seasoned law enforcement officers.
Lumberton police arrested 50-year-old Jeremy Smith for the 2009 cold case, aggravated sexual assault of a 6-week-old girl. If convicted, he faces up to life in prison. A judge set bond at $1 million. Chief Danny Sullins tells us they identified Smith as a suspect but needed probable cause to arrest him. Officers working tirelessly with Lieutenant Joey Bro heading up the case. He passed away 3 years ago after battling cancer. Sergeant Chad Wilson picked up the case, ran with it, and the grand jury indicted Smith last week.
He was arrested in Brazoria County, and Wednesday, Lumberton police went to bring him back to Hardin County. Chief Sullins providing us with this photo showing the handcuffs used to transport Smith to the jail in Coons. They were the same handcuffs that belonged to the late Sergeant Bro. Sullins adding that the case always remained at the top of their minds.
And Port Arthur is ranked as one of the worst small cities to call home in the country. That's according to Wallet Hub.
The personal finance website releasing a study comparing more than 1,300 cities across the U.S. with populations between 25 and 100,000 people. Now, the rankings are based on dozens of factors. While Port Arthur scored well on affordability, it fell short in terms of safety, crime, education, and quality of life, according to Wallet Hub. One other place in Texas did do worse. Fort Cavazos, formerly known as Fort Hood, the country's largest Army base located in Central Texas, received a lower score than Port Arthur.
Lamar University releasing its annual crime report required of colleges and universities each year in October.
Yeah, one offense listed on the Lamar University log crime was a female student arrested Wednesday for unlawful carrying of a firearm. It's one of 5 crimes involving firearms on or near the LU campus since January, compared to 2 last year.
Offenses involving alcohol and criminal trespassing make up the majority of crimes around the Lamar University campus. The crime reports for LU show an increase in stalking and dating violence, with 25 total reports in 2023. One student told us he doesn't feel safe, while another says they do. Angel San Juan has this month's Hometown Hero. That's going to be coming up next. Stay tuned for more ARC Southeast Texas after the break.
Just about 10:16 this morning. Well, friends describe this month's hometown hero as a woman with a heart of gold who helps children, the homeless, and everyone she can in the community.
Plus, she's a foster grandparent for Port Arthur ISD. Angel San Juan reports.
Hi, everyone. We're here at Sam Houston Elementary in Port Arthur because this is where we find this month's hometown hero. It's one of the many things she does for the community. But before we introduce you to her, let's bring in Todd Godin, who's the CEO of Gulf Credit Union. And Todd, I love doing this, but I can really tell you enjoy surprising these folks. These are our neighbors and do a lot of good.
Yes, they are. Gulf Credit Union's been serving the citizens of Southeast Texas for 85 years. We're always involved in community activities, and anytime we can honor someone like the Hometown Hero Awards, we are all over it. So I'm really excited about this one.
Yes, it's going to be a great one, and we are about to go to surprise her. Miss Laura Mitchell? Yes. Hi, Miss Laura Mitchell. I'm Angel San Juan with KFDM Fox 4, and you have been picked as this month's hometown hero.
Thank you.
We're so honored to honor you this month and have chosen you as this month's hometown hero. For all that you do, we are grateful. The whole community is grateful.
How's it feel?
Great, because I do a lot. I have a nonprofit organization, and this will be my 15th year with my toy drive, which will be held December the 14th at the Pavilion. And I just appreciate it. Thank y'all so much.
And we have to tell you, you got a lot of nominations, but one of the folks joining us right there is Jen Jordan. She was one of several people who nominated you.
Thank you. When it comes to Laura and her organization, we work year round. We don't just do toys. We do Easter, we do Halloween, we do people that just know that a child is in need of something can let our organization know, and Laura steps up.
Tell us about your organization, what it's called, and what people can do if they want to help out. What can they do?
My organization is called Fancy Step Riders. I formed it in 2010, and we've been going strong ever since. It's 5 single mothers that got together and decided to make a difference in the community. We feed the homeless. We help with anything. Just reach out to us. We're on Facebook. And also you can contact me at my home number, 409-293-0708. No matter what it is, never hesitate, call, and you'll always get an answer.
Well, we're so proud of you. It was an honor meeting you, and congratulations. Here we are, Laura Mitchell, our hometown hero of the month.
Thank you.
Yeah, good story. And if you would like to nominate someone for Hometown Hero, you can log on to our website, kfdm.com, go to our contest page, and then scroll down to the Hometown Hero icon, fill out all the information, and let us know. Still to come, we're going to be talking with Katie Scott about the Art Walk on the Avenue for this weekend. 10:21 on your Friday. We are joined by Katie Scott this morning. We are talking about the Art Walk in the Avenue, which if you haven't heard of it, well, it's the 10th annual one. 10 years. I mean, pretty incredible.
Absolutely.
How's it been over the years?
Oh, it's been great. And every year it's just grown and grown. So it started, Esther Maka started it about 10 years ago. And it was just maybe 20 to 30 vendors. And now we're up to about 80. So it's gotten really big.
Yeah. And I mean, tell us for the folks who have not been, what does it look like? What can they expect?
So we closed down Port Neches Avenue and all the vendors are lined up on the street. We also have a kids zone where we have like Spider-Man, Cinderella, Gator Country comes out with some animals. And we also have music, food trucks, and everybody's just able to walk up and down and see what local artists and local vendors have to offer and shop, and also visit all the businesses on the avenue.
So local artists, but there's also musicians too.
Yeah, so we have music underneath the new pavilion next door to the Port Neches Chamber. There will be music from 11 to 3.
Wow. Okay. So lots of fun. I mean, how cool is this too? We talk about, local artists. Sometimes it can be hard to get your work showcased. I know in the art industry, right? It's
Absolutely.
like making it big is obviously the goal, but sometimes, I mean, how great is it for these local artists to actually have a place where they can go and put it out there and get such a large audience to be able to see some of their work?
Right. Yes. No, it's really cool. And they love it every year. We always get good feedback that this is one of their favorite events. And so no, we're just super excited.
Yeah.
So.
Obviously some success for doing it for 10 years.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been fun. And so we're excited for this year, and the weather's looking better too. So, hopefully absolutely.
Yeah. In the Lake Charles community, they have a huge art scene over there. And so they do a lot of art walks, and they're always a big hit. And that was one of the things that we always talk to artists about is that, it is, like Macy said, hard to, get your name out there and show people and showcase your work, but they're able to do this. So I'm sure y'all have a really, huge respect from the art community for being able to do that. Is there anything new this year that maybe y'all didn't have in the previous years?
Not necessarily. We always, the food trucks, the music, and the artist. And, but yeah, no, we pretty much, it's been the same about the last 10 years, just grown as far as the amount of vendors. And, we do have different musicians every year, but we always have music. So yeah, no, it's pretty much the same. It's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And maybe tell us a little bit about, obviously there's going to be some vendors there and artists showcasing their work. I think obviously the first thing that comes to mind is a painting, right? But art definitely comes in plenty of mediums. What are some of the things that people are going to be able to buy?
Oh yeah. So this year we've actually had multiple 3D printers that are art. Yeah. Cool. So since now that, a lot of artists are doing that. So I'm really curious to walk around and see those artists and what they do. We also have people that, make shirts or, also different kind of paintings. Like it might be, there's this one that paints on windows. And so hers are always really neat because it's on old windows.
Yeah.
And then, you might have like people that do things with jewelry, like there's a lot of crafted jewelry and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of different types of artists. And so it's really exciting.
Good deal. Okay, so tell us what people need to know again.
So the event is Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The food and the music will be there from 11 to 3. Kids Zone is all day from 10 to 4. And there's different activities going on in there. And the food trucks will be there from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So just come on out and have a great time.
Perfect. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yes.
Okay, so be sure to go check it out and have some fun. Hopefully the weather does stay clear for you.
I know. Yes. Fingers crossed.
Here we go. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And still to come this morning, of course, it is Friday. We're talking Friday night football. Cam Sanderson previews tonight's football games.
2 weeks left of high school football here in Southeast Texas, and still a lot to be determined, including in our game of the week as the Buccaneers sail up to Orangefield to take on the Bobcats. East Chambers currently sits at 4-1 in district play, looking to take the lead in District 10-3A D1. The Buccaneers are averaging 34.6 points per game right now, scoring 99 points in their last 2 games, so there will be a lot to handle for the Orangefield defense. The Bobcats, however, come into this one undefeated in district, looking to win their second title in just 3 years. First-year head coach Jeff Bro has this defense clicking on all cylinders, allowing just 15.4 points per game. A win tonight for Orangefield would clinch the district title. Now moving on to another team looking to clinch their district. The Nederland Bulldogs are at home against the Huntsville Hornets. Nederland is coming off of one of the biggest wins in the state after upsetting the #1 ranked PNG Indians in Mid-County Madness. The Bulldogs are currently a perfect 5-0 in district and are just 1 win away from being crowned district champions for the first time since 2020. The Bulldogs offense has been hot, averaging 36.4 points per game, taking care of the ball on the ground and in the air. They take on the Hornets, who are coming off of their second district loss on the season. Nederland has all the momentum coming to this one and should have no problem clinching the district tonight. Now let's move across the tracks to see how the Indians plan to bounce back after their first loss since August of 2023. PNG's 22-game winning streak ended last week against the Bulldogs. So now the Indians will need a bounce-back win because, well, their season just doesn't end next week. PNG is currently second in their district, and finishing the season out undefeated would guarantee a home game in round 1 of the playoffs. Despite the loss last week, the Indians have been close to perfect on the year. Their offense is averaging 41.7 points per game, but Montgomery has also taken care of business this year, averaging 48.1 points per game, which should put pressure on PNG's defense in this one. The Indians are 2-0 against the Bears all time, and a win would put them on track to finish the regular season on a high note. That's going to wrap it up for this week. To catch these highlights from tonight's games, you're going to have to tune in to KFDM Channel 6 at 10:35 after the late news.
Welcome back to ARC Southeast Texas. This morning we are joined by Brandy and Ben Cartledge with the Whispering Grove Fair in Kirbyville, which we are just discussing. I've never been, so I'm very curious about what it all entails. Obviously, they're all dressed up in costume, ready to go. I'd have to assume that this is something similar that you can expect if you go.
Well, I look like this every day, so of course. No. Yes, yes. It's more of a fantasy-based fair, so people are encouraged to just get their imaginations going. We are medieval, but if you want to come as your favorite fantasy creature, come on. You're more than welcome.
Yeah.
We have Miss Scarlet, our fire performer. We have Jay Blackwell. Oh my God, he throws knives, he juggles fire.
Wow.
His assistant Trixie Twinkle Toes can do an act all on her own. Her personality is just on par. Blaggards are going to be there tomorrow night after 6 p.m. and it's going to be just the regular cost of a ticket to get in, no extra admission. So it's very family friendly. Come dressed, come in your jeans. It doesn't matter. We just want y'all to come out there. We have some wonderful restaurants, and the drum circle from Lake Charles came out to see us, and they met up with our Wayward Bard. And these gentlemen sounded like they've been playing together their entire lives within 5 seconds.
Wow.
And that's the vibe of the fair.
Yeah. Kind of folks just kind of coming together and enjoying it, right?
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's we have to wear the wigs, we pull our hair out, but it's fine. It's fine. No, we've really, this has really been a sweat, blood, and tears situation, and we love it. We
Yeah.
love it.
So how many years has this been going on?
This is the first
Oh, this
year.
is the first year.
This is the first year.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So very exciting.
This
So yeah,
is
what
our
you
maiden
say-
voyage. Yeah.
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 Lots of work going into it. I mean, what inspired you guys and brought you to kind of bringing something like this to Kirbyville?
We needed it. We really, really needed something that was local, that we could employ local people. We could get local artisans out. I mean, we do have people coming from all over, but we wanted something in Southeast Texas to do that was fun, that touched the imagination and was great for the whole family.
You also have a group of people here in Southeast Texas that used to go to TRF and some of the other Ren fairs.
Yeah.
And with the price increases for TRF,
can't
it's
afford it
put it
anymore.
out of the range.
We're
for some of the
$12 at the
families.
gate.
Yeah.
And this is our spectacular weekend.
Oh, fun.
So we're doing it later and kids are going to be free.
Oh, there you
On
go.
Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah.
On Sunday. Okay.
Free
We're going to
kids on
have, there's
Sunday.
going to be all kinds of games and stuff for the kids to do. Oh, trick or treating. So get
There you
dressed
go.
again.
Yeah.
I
Don't have to
mean,
throw it.
always get dressed again.
Yeah. I was gonna say, even if
Right.
Halloween's over, this goes on for a while. You guys have already started a couple
Okay.
weekends ago.
2 weekends down. This is our third weekend, and there'll be 2 more. We close out on November 17th.
Okay, so plenty of time to go.
Yes,
and,
plenty of time to come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tickets at the gate or online. Everybody.
Ticket prices are $12 for adults and $6 for kids. Children under 6 get in free.
Correct.
Wow. Okay, there you go. And I know for the places like the Texas Renaissance Festival, that's like an all-day affair. You're there pretty much all day
We're
exploring.
much smaller,
Okay.
but there's so much to do. So many
Yeah.
artisans to see. Just the entertainment alone. We have been blessed with the way our entertainment is going to work. When the fire show ends, the Transylvania Torture Show, which is not as
Oh.
creepy as it sounds. He's great. He's great. No one dies. Starts, and then the
Yeah.
minstrels are running through like the heartbeat of the fair. And then we have our tea with our fairy Gossie, who is the heart of our fair. And she takes the kids and they go have tea. And they sculpted with clay this last time, they little mushrooms. It was
Oh,
the sweetest
cool.
thing you've ever seen.
Oh, how fun. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, so folks who are interested, where can they find more information?
Facebook, we have the Whispering Grove Fair, fair spelled with an E on Facebook. And we also have whisperinggrovefair.com, which is our website.
Perfect. All right. And of course, got this weekend and then a few weekends to come. So make sure you head out there and that way you can have some fun and get dressed up.
Yes, dress.
Get into it. Yeah, there you
Dress,
go.
Come here, Billie
come out,
Jeans. We
have
don't
a good
care.
time.
Yeah.
You'll leave covered in glitter. It's fine. Just kidding. No glitter. No glitter allowed. I'm kidding.
All right. Well, thank you both for stopping
Thank
by.
you
We
so much for
appreciate
Thank you so
having
this.
much
Yeah.
for having us.
So to come this morning, we'll have some more ARC Southeast Texas. So stick around. Well, 340,000, that's how many cold cases remained on law enforcement shelves unsolved between 1965 and 2022. One of those cases right here in Beaumont. Investigators exhausted every lead in the 1995 murder of Mary Catherine Edwards. Jade Moore reports how new technology and relentless police work finally exposed the killer and brought the truth to light.
The 1995 murder and rape of a young Beaumont teacher. Her body found in her bathroom by her family. Beaumont police investigated, but for a quarter of a century, no one knew who killed her.
Judge Wortham asked us to look into the unsolved homicide of Mary Catherine Edwards. Again, probably 2014, 2015 timeframe.
And he had been in contact with a new lab called Othram that was doing phenomenal things with DNA testing.
You know, it just took a long time for both of us to be able to get the time. And then myself being moved into the cold case team allowed me more time to work on that on a full-time basis.
Now retired Texas Ranger Brandon Bess will tell you this was an example of a very thorough investigation by the Beaumont Police Department. They would have to rework the case from the beginning. But one thing had changed over the course of 30 years, DNA technology.
In Catherine's case, that was it. Talking to people, doing interviews, reading all the reports, pulling old newspaper articles, pulling, everything that we could from that time. And of course, the retesting of evidence was the biggie.
It was challenging with the evidence because there were some private labs and things like that were used back in the day, but they did great chain of custody, so we were able to keep track of all those things.
Bess was familiar with a DNA testing facility near Houston, Othram Labs, that has helped solve thousands of cases and is considered a first of its kind.
What you get is you have this unknown person and you get like a little sonar.
Scientists are able to build DNA profiles with hundreds of thousands of markers, not just 20 with the old method. Evidence was collected from Edwards's comforter and swabs from her body, and then uploaded into a database where Othram is able to identify distant relationships with advanced technology.
They're this far away from this person, they're this far away from this person, this far away from this person, and you can quickly start to put that person on a family tree.
Scientists create a genetic sequence, in return creating an advanced DNA profile. Now detectives needed to search for their suspect again, and they would do that through genetic genealogy.
And then as it evolved, and recently we're able to do whole genetic profiles and be able to extract very minute, specific information from the DNA.
Detective Tina Llewellyn says she and her husband spent countless hours connecting the dots, starting with over 7,000 possible hits based on their profile.
So this case was extremely challenging because a lot of people of Cajun descent are related to each other in more than one way. And so we would have matches, we would work that tree up, see where they matched each other. We'd work that tree out and our suspect wasn't there. Well, we'd have to say, how else are these two matches also related to each other? So if we go up another 2 generations, we see that they're also related to each other through this great-great-grandparent. So work that tree out, and then that's how we found our suspect.
They went from door to door collecting DNA samples and were finally able to narrow it down to 2 men who fit their profile.
Happened to run Clayton's name first and discovered the sexual assault that happened back in the early 80s. That next day, I got with our records clerks and got a copy of that old report, and a lot of similarities in that case matched similarities in the Edwards case.
Ohio investigators, where Foreman was living at the time, did what's called a trash pull from his garbage, confirming he was their suspect. Detective Aaron Llewellyn and Ranger Bess flew to Ohio within days to question him for the very first time.
And we found a picture of a wedding picture that she and her sister, Allison, were actually in your wedding. Right. And
other than Edwards being in his wedding, Foreman denies really knowing her or knowing she had even been murdered. He said there was no reason for his DNA to be on Mary Catherine.
And the only way for that to have gotten there would have been for you putting it there.
Foreman told the two men he needed an attorney before walking out of the room, only to be arrested and charged with murder.
We wanted that confession. You always want that confession. I think everybody would agree with that. But the way he answered the questions and how sure he was of himself, we knew that our case was solid at that point.
Dozens of witness testimonies, never before seen video, pictures, a shocking account from Foreman's previous victim, a 7-day trial, but it took less than an hour for the jury to deliberate.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of the offense of capital murder.
History was made here at the Jefferson County Courthouse. Clayton Foreman will spend the rest of his life behind bars, but justice doesn't mean the pain will go away for Mary Catherine's family.
Make friends with people and compliment people, and just was an amazing person.
In Beaumont, I'm Jade Morrow reporting.
Detective Llewellyn and Ranger Best handcuffed Foreman with the same handcuffs he used on Mary Catherine Edwards. Those we interviewed say it was a collective effort by many to solve this case, and they were happy to finally bring a killer to justice. Certainly a long time coming whenever it comes to that stuff, and always interesting how technology is evolving over the years and can now help in cases like that.
It's a prime example here in this case. You know, I was happy to be able to do this. There were so many moving parts. I mean, we had 40 hours of trial video, 30 years of information. There's so many moving parts in this story. So to be able to kind of, you know, put together a few of them and be able to tell it at great length was something that was really happy to be able to do. This was such a huge deal for Beaumont, a huge deal for her family. And I know the law enforcement officers and the detectives that worked this case were finally, you know, happy to be able to say that they had solved this one, because they are, you know, between Beaumont PD, they've got some cases that, you know, are on the top of their list in terms of like, we'd really like to solve these, you know, along with all their other cases. And then they have the cold case unit for the Texas Rangers, and they kind of collaborate. And this is one of the ones that really stuck out. So happy to be able to tell some of it and shed some light on the good work that they did.
Well, yeah, certainly interesting too, because I know a lot of folks were following that case, and especially whenever it came to the trial and following the trial. But whenever it comes down to day to day, we can only show you so much that we hear and we see. And there are so many minute details too, whenever it comes to DNA of, you know, 0.001 changes, right, that they have to explain. So interesting to be able to kind of actually see where it all happens and how they're able to take a look at some of the DNA and analyze it and actually find out, okay, how does this family tree work? How does this person connected? And finally able to
and it's very, very tricky. You know, Othram Labs can be a story on its own. What they're doing is incredible. They've solved thousands upon thousands of cases, and it was just a startup by a husband and a wife, and they've just been doing incredible things. So really cool there. And it's what they do is so different from what, you know, they would typically do with DNA testing with like blood samples and whatnot. They build this DNA profile. They've got thousands and thousands and thousands of characteristics to be able to build a profile with the genetic genealogy. They take the two, and that's how they were able to get to Clayton Foreman and his brother. Clayton Foreman just so happened to fit the bill better. And then they went from there. So crazy one there.
Yeah, absolutely. So very interesting story. If you want to watch it again, of course, you can always do it online, fox4beaumont.com. So still ahead this morning, we'll check in with Katrina Adger. She's going to talk to us about what's coming up at noon. 10:50 this morning. Want to take a look inside the newsroom and talk with KFDM's noon anchor, Patrina Adger.
Patrina, tell us what we can expect in your show today.
Hey, happy Friday. Here's what's going on for the news at noon. Early voting ends today. You have until 7 tonight if you want to cast your ballot. After today, you can cast your ballot on Election Day, November the 5th. Chad and Greg say, though, it's going to be rainy that day. So head out today if you can. If not, you'll have to wait till Tuesday. Also, we're 4 days away from Election Day. We'll have a report on where the candidates are heading into this final stretch of the campaign. Also, imagine spending thousands of dollars for tickets to see your favorite superstar like Taylor Swift and then losing them. That's happening to Taylor Swift fans on the final leg of her Eras Tour. We'll tell you about that. Also, if you're heading out to Music at the McFadden's tonight, this concert has been rescheduled due to them thinking that it's going to rain tonight. So that has been rescheduled. Not tonight, but next Friday that's going to be happening. Also, the Beaumont Visitors Bureau is going to be here to talk about Restaurant Week next week. It's going to be all week next week. And guess what? We get an extra hour of sleep this weekend. The clocks are going back. So much to talk about on the news at noon. You don't want to miss it. Ladies, back to you.
Wow, lots of stuff going on.
I know. I don't know. I'm speechless.
Okay. Well, Patrina kind of mentioned it. Some stuff that was supposed to be going on tonight. Well, Jive and Gene rescheduled, but there's plenty more that you can choose to go to. Well, yeah. So now it's going to be November 8th at 6:30, which is going to be next Friday. Not this Friday. Gates will open at 6 p.m. So that way you can catch Jive and Gene. He did great.
Another guest that we had on the show earlier this week is the Dream Center of Southeast Texas. Their Freedom Walk is tomorrow. They are raising funds for victims of human trafficking, Saturday, November 2nd again, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Dream Circle, located at 3890 FM 3514 in Beaumont.
Dia de los Muertos event at Beaumont Children's Museum is tomorrow. It'll kick off at 9 a.m. It'll go until 4. The event is included with your general admission to the museum.
And Lamar University's Department of Theater and Dance presents Peter Pan. The event is open to the public. There are showings tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday. Tickets range from $5 to $15. And as a previous Lamar University student, they put so much work into these things, and they do a really good job. So it's a good one to show up to.
Say tickets are reasonable too. It's a good deal to go check that show out. We just talked about the 10th annual Art Walk on the Avenue. That's tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's going to be local art vendors, some food trucks, live music, and kid activities.
And Jasper Christmas Open House. You can get your Christmas shopping done early this year, November 1st, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's this evening, 231 West South Houston Street in Jasper, Texas. There will be Christmas ornaments, Santa cookie boards, and personalized order forms available for keychains, ornaments, and more. So Christmas shopping or Christmas decorating, rather.
You name it, whatever you got. We also this morning talked with Kathy Hughes on ARC Southeast Texas at 8, and she was telling us about the Legend Made Swap and Trade taking place tomorrow from 9:30 to 2 p.m. That's at the Ben J. Rogers Regional Visitors Center.
And we had some folks from the Whispering Grove Fair tell us about the Renaissance Fair in Kirbyville. It's a huge one every year, but it's a little bit closer to home. Tomorrow, Blackguards will be performing. This weekend, the fair's theme is Pirate Adventure. So lots of time to be able to go out to that one, though, November 17th.
Yeah, plenty of stuff going on. So be sure to get out and go check it out and explore Southeast Texas some. So to come this morning, though, we'll have our question of the day. Yesterday, we carved pumpkins on our ARC Facebook page. We asked you to pick who carved the best jack-o'-lantern.
And I was about to read my name in third person. My pumpkin is on the left, Macy's is on the right. This contest shows that every vote counts because mine won by 1 like. So, and it was probably my like.
The only like. They won by 1 like, which was the only.
Okay, well, the point is mine still won. So, okay, good. It wasn't my like. Okay.
Was it your mom?
No, my mom doesn't have
Family
Facebook. Come on.
Family doesn't.
Oh, my mom's name is Kelly, though. Thank you, Kelly Hamilton, for making me the winner.
Oh, I was about to be nervous. Family's maiden name. My mom's side is Hamilton, so it better not be them. Anyway, that does it for us on this Friday. We hope you have a good day and a good weekend.